Whether you are reading Crooked Star's Promise, Spotted Leaf's Heart, or the Omen of the Stars books, it is very clear that Thistleclaw is an evil and vicious dark forest cat. However, it is hard to pinpoint exactly where Thistleclaw made the shift from foolishly aggressive to plain evil. Thistleclaw's introduction and most significant appearances are in the Super Edition Blue Star's Prophecy. However, nothing he does in that book is truly evil. He can act selfish and stupid, yes, but he never brings any intentional harm to ThunderClan or even his rival Blue Star. In fact, if we were to completely disregard everything that Thistleclaw did outside the events of Blue Star's Prophecy, he really wouldn't be what I would call evil. He's more of a moderate antagonist that gets in the way of some things, but in the end really didn't do much damage. He's not really developed in the same way as the Thistleclaw that appears in more recent books. He might actually be a different Thistleclaw entirely. One that the writers never intended to be evil. This'll be interesting to talk about. See what I did there? I said this'll, which is pronounced the same as thistle, and the video is about Thistleclaw. You know what? Never mind. Anyways, the first really important thing to know about Thistleclaw's portrayal in Blue Star's Prophecy is the fact that the book is told from Blue Star's perspective. And as we all know, Blue Star hates Thistleclaw. She even gave up her own kids so that he wouldn't become deputy of ThunderClan. Wait, no. There was no guarantee that Bluefur would be chosen to become deputy over Thistleclaw. And there was also no guarantee that Thistleclaw would be chosen to become deputy at all. So, what we have is Bluefur giving up her own offspring only to decrease the chance of Thistleclaw becoming deputy. That is a lot of hate. I mean, Bluefur did believe that Thistleclaw would destroy ThunderClan, and this could very well be true. But just how bad was Thistleclaw? Again, right now I am only considering the events of Blue Star's Prophecy, which means that there is absolutely no Dark Forest interference at work here because the authors had not fully conceptualized it yet. All we have is Blue Star's personal perception of Thistleclaw's actions. She sees him as arrogant and reckless and does not hide these feelings at all, which essentially sets up a rivalry between them, which leads to mutual hatred. There is no violence between them, but they do get in some very heated arguments. It gets to the point where in Bluefur's head, Thistleclaw is always wrong no matter what. The best example of this comes from the relationship formed between Thistleclaw and Snowfur. Bluefur is quite upset by the fact that her sister became attracted to Thistleclaw. Now, of course, Snowfur has her own freedom of choice, but Bluefur just doesn't even try to understand Snowfur's feelings. When Thistleclaw's sister, Sweetpaw, dies, Snowfur feels pity for Thistleclaw, and Bluefur gets disgusted by this for no reason. Yeah, Bluefur is quite the unreliable source when it comes to understanding Thistleclaw. Bluefur is so caught up in her rivalry with him that she lets every interaction they have be negative. Thistleclaw obviously doesn't treat Snowfur the same way, but Bluefur refuses to see that. She thinks that because Thistleclaw is nasty to her, Thistleclaw must be a nasty cat. In reality, Bluefur is being nasty to Thistleclaw, and Thistleclaw is being nasty back. Thistleclaw probably views Bluefur the same way Bluefur views Thistleclaw. Now, let's get into the actual events that challenge the Thistleclaw's not evil in this book theory. Introducing Tigerpaw, Thistleclaw's apprentice that would later become Tigerstar. Now, the easy conclusion to make is that Thistleclaw created the evil in Tigerpaw. However, I don't think this is true. Of course, we now know that Mapleshade carries some responsibility, but Mapleshade as a character was not thought up when this book was written, so we are back to only Thistleclaw and Tigerpaw. We do get Thistleclaw training Tigerpaw harshly, but this really isn't enough to call Thistleclaw evil. First, we already know that Thistleclaw is obsessed with fighting. He's simply passing this on to Tigerpaw. Being a bad role model isn't exactly evil. Secondly, this is Bluefur's perception of Thistleclaw. As I've already stated, everything Thistleclaw does is wrong to Bluefur, so she's obviously going to experience an exaggerated version of Thistleclaw's training in her head. Third, we can look at a quote from Bluestar's prophecy. Thistleclaw practically sat on Tigerpaw to prevent him from fighting other apprentices at the gathering. This quote in particular really shows that Tigerpaw's development is out of Thistleclaw's control. Fourth and finally, we know that Bluestar eventually chose Tigerclaw to be her deputy. Bluestar hates Thistleclaw and went through massive lengths to prevent him from becoming deputy. If she believed there was any trace of Thistleclaw in Tigerclaw, she would have gone through similar lengths to prevent Tigerclaw from becoming deputy. Tigerpaw became evil on his own. Sure, Thistleclaw made it easier, but his actions alone are not enough to label him as completely responsible. Another thing Thistleclaw does in Bluestar's prophecy that could be classified as evil is letting Tigerpaw attack the kit that would later become Scourge. While this certainly is a mistake, I wouldn't say that Thistleclaw wanted this to happen. As I've already established, Tigerpaw's actions are out of Thistleclaw's control. Thistleclaw only supports him because he doesn't want to look weak in front of Bluefur. Later, we see Thistleclaw placing all the blame on Tigerpaw. While this is irresponsible, it at least shows that Thistleclaw recognizes the aggression as wrong. The last thing to look at when discussing Thistleclaw in Bluestar's prophecy is his death, which I actually find to be more sad than anything else. Becoming deputy was extremely important to Thistleclaw. However, with his rival Bluestar being leader, Thistleclaw knows that his chances of getting that position have drained to nearly nothing. Also, Thistleclaw is no Tiger Star. He won't kill his clanmates to gain power. However, he will revert to a tactic he used way back when he was only an apprentice, being foolishly brave. Thistleclaw received his warrior name when he attacked a dog all by himself and was labeled as a hero. Desperate to be labeled as a hero again to improve his chances of becoming deputy, Thistleclaw attacks an entire River Clan patrol all by himself. However, instead of receiving the recognition he desired so deeply, Thistleclaw receives death. The statement Bluestar made about Thistleclaw, he died as he lived, could not be more accurate. The same behavior that gave Thistleclaw his reputation caused his downfall. So yeah, if we're looking at 2017 Thistleclaw, or 2010 through 2012 Thistleclaw, he is obviously evil, taking advantage of other cats and training in the Dark Forest. However, I don't really think the same thing can be said about 2009 Thistleclaw. I think 2009 Thistleclaw really had the best interests of ThunderClan at his heart. He was just overcome with some level of narcissism that gave him the burning desire to be in complete control. However, Thistleclaw struggles throughout his entire life to find this control. He wasn't able to stop Sweetpaw from eating the tainted mouse. He wasn't able to prevent Snowfur's death on the Thunderpath. He wasn't able to connect to his son Whitestorm. He wasn't able to stop Tigerpaw from attacking Scourge. He wasn't able to convince Sunstar or Bluestar that he deserved to become deputy. And finally, he wasn't able to take on a RiverClan patrol on his own. 2009 Thistleclaw isn't evil. He's just a selfish, desperate idiot. So, if the Thistleclaw in Bluestar's prophecy wasn't meant to be evil, why does Thistleclaw end up in the Dark Forest? Well, it actually makes a lot of sense from the perspective of the writing team. When establishing the Dark Forest, it makes sense to include as many familiar characters as possible. The more former villains in the Dark Forest, the more interesting it is. However, there weren't many villains for them to use. Thistleclaw just makes the Dark Forest a more interesting concept. It is always cool to see references to older books in new books. As interesting as a misunderstood Thistleclaw would be, there really wouldn't be any further story that could use him. He's sort of already dead, and StarClan cats other than Yellowfang and Spotted Leaf hardly ever get development. Making Thistleclaw an evil Dark Forest cat was the only use his character could have, so putting him in that role was a simple decision. Even if his new self doesn't completely match up with his past representation, it was the only way that his character could be reintroduced. And honestly, putting an ambitious cat obsessed with fighting into a group of malicious ambitious cats obsessed with fighting is not much of a stretch. I can't really complain. The two choices were making Thistleclaw evil or just never mentioning Thistleclaw again. And to know, the Dark Forest definitely can help explain why Thistleclaw acted the way he did in Bluestar's prophecy. However, it doesn't have to. That's the beauty of books. You can interpret characters how you want to. You could have a misunderstood Thistleclaw, or you could have an evil Thistleclaw. Either way, his character gives us some meaningful messages about the dangers of rivalry and ambition. It's really up to you which version of Thistleclaw is better at communicating this. It's your Thistleclaw.